Hey guys, welcome back to another Mythic Legion's action figure review. We're taking a look at the Vampire Phalanx Legion Builder from 4 Horsemen Studios. Originally part of the Legion Builder reinforcement wave, then later sold in an in-stock sale. On the back of the box we have the reinforcement artwork for this wave, featuring pictures of the Legion Builders on the side, and a few short paragraphs on the lore of Mythic Legions. We have a small photo and the name of the figure on the side of the box, with this wave of Legion Builders coming with actual lore attached to the nameless characters, something not really done until this wave. Removing the figure and taking apart the package is extremely easy to do. With the accessories in their own bag and the character secured onto its tray, there's nothing to rip or break open to get the figure out. Legion Builders are a low-cost way to buy up multiple figures for army building or customizing. At a reduced price, Legion Builders come with much less paint detail than deluxe figures, usually only in a single color for both the figure and the weapons. But they still come with the full loadout of accessories, including shoulder armor, and some even with alternate heads. The vampires of the Alithia's Brood faction make their home in the remote region known as the White Spine. It is there where the Vampire Phalanx guards the gates of the Black Palace, protecting the vampiric royalty inside. Forming an armored wall with their shields, the pitch black colored soldiers prefer to use tridents to push forward in formations, using their vampiric strength and reflexes to impale any who would choose to get close. Let's take a look at the details of the figure. A bright pale white face is seen in the opening of the pitch black armor, detailed with bright white eyes, small fangs coming out of the mouth, and a bat-like nose. Small wrinkles detail the skin, while the helmet is detailed with layers all over the armored helmet, obscured by the pitch black color of the reflective armor. We have a better look at those long fins coming out of the helmet's side. Curved in shape and appearance, it gives the helmet a unique look. The helmet reaches up to a point at the back of the head, where the smooth black glossy metal reflects more light. We have a newer updated style of the knight armored chest plates, in a chevron pattern pointing upward at the center. Grooves in the armor and small rivets can be seen here, if only by the reflection of the light. Mythic Legions use large sockets on the back to attach accessories onto the figure. Here we have 2 circular sockets for the shoulder armor, and another large socket at the center for other back attachments. Not much detail here on the flat back, with only a few grooves seen in the front of the armor wrapping to the back. We have the standard 1.0 knight style shoulders here, with small layers of heavy plate with the pattern running down the center. More large plates cover up the entire arm and hand, using heavy plates to make up the gauntlet in small stacks layered over each other. While I do like the glossy black paint we see on these vampires, as a Legion builder we can see it applied on different textures and materials. The darkness of the paint really does blend in all the details together. We do have a newer style of armor plated belt, featuring a fin pattern design on the plates of armor. A large plate of that finned armor hangs down the side, attached to the belt by a small plate of armor and straps at the edges. More small plates cover up the backside, with the details here only seen by the light reflecting off of that dark glossy black paint. More 1.0 style heavy armor was used on the thighs, with the pattern design running down the center. We continue the classic knight armor with the winged legs, with a large plate covering up the kneecaps and more plates covering up the entire leg. We wrap up the details with the 1.0 style knight boot. Heavy, pointed layers of armor attached to each other by rivets on the side, acting as articulation points on the sculpt. Let's check out the articulation on this figure. First up, for the head, the fins on each side are able to rotate. One thing to note about the neck articulation is that these fins are extremely large, and while you can move them out of the way, they do get in the way of some of the range on the neck. The shoulders can fully open and rotate all the way around. Elbows that bend inward and rotate. A rotating forearm. Wrists that rotate and bend side to side. A ball joint at the waist that allows rotation, with not much range for crunching forward or back. Legs that can open up to the max range, thanks to the armor here moving out of the way, as well as some great forward and backwards range. A joint at the thigh for rotation. Knees that bend back and rotate. ankles that bend up and down and rotate, and the foot that twists. The Vampire Phalanx isn't the first figure to use this dark glossy armor, as we have had the Black Knight that was released a few years back. Similar to color and size, Mythic Legions are able to swap between each other between the same type of 1.0 style of body, while a fully featured deluxe vampire will still have that glossy black finish with just much more paint to bring out the details. Seen here is a 2.0 style vampire with the same black gloss finish. 2.0 bodies are much smaller, making them incompatible with each other when attempting to swap parts between them. Taking a look at the 6-inch scale figure from Hasbro, we have multiple figures across different franchises in the 6-inch scale, being just a bit shorter and smaller than Mythic Legions. Jada Toys runs in the smaller size of the 6-inch scale, making Mythic Legions look that much more taller and bulkier than what most other toy companies have to offer in this scale. McFarlane, as usual, has their large 7-inch scale figures reaching new heights, being a good size larger than Mythic Legions, although the human size figures do seem to work fine here. We come with an alternate head in the commonly used Gorgo head sculpt. The wings pre-installed on the default head can also be installed on the alternate head, just make sure you warm up those sockets, it's a very tight fit. The Gorgo style helmet does look good in its glossy black paint, but just like the armor, the details are obscured and lost in that dark reflective paint. We have a better look at the ports on the side for the fins here, as well as the layers of the helmet resting on the back of the head. Removing the head is extremely simple. You can just pop it off, then secure the alternate in its place. As always, if you're having issues removing joints, warming up the sockets is always a good idea. We have a pair of shoulder armor in a newer finned pattern matching the dark glossy color of the armor. The shoulder armor is installed into the sockets on the back, easily popping into place. Warming up the sockets in the back makes it much easier to install. Unfortunately, thanks to those long thin wings on the helmet, it will restrict either neck or shoulder range as they will start to collide with each other in certain positions. We have a very large purple trident with the topper that's removable to swap out with other toppers. We have a two-handed knight sword in that same purple color. A round shield detailed with rivets with the 2.0 styled shield grip that attaches to the back of the shield. A 1.0 style belt made to fit the larger bodies. And the newer, cooler belt upgraded with more belt loops and a tighter fit. Legion builders do pack a lot of value for the price they have to offer, and the Vampire Phalanx Legion builder is no exception. With the lower cost, we are able to build a large army of Vampire Knights, with the dark glossy black armor that even matches the theme and some of the paint of other vampire figures in the Legion. While deluxe painted figures do feature this glossy black finish, they usually have a lot of other colors detailed into sculpting and texture, something that this Legion builder in particular, more than others, makes it obvious that it's missing. If you don't want this figure to blend in with the shadows, it's definitely recommended to pose it in your collection under some sort of lighting. Thankfully, the weapons are painted in a reflective purple, with the help of some of those leather belts breaking up the look of that all black glossed figure. The alternate head is always a fine addition, but longtime collectors probably have at least 20 of these by now, as they have been a common offering as alternate heads since the start of Mythic Legions. Using a standard knight body, customizers should have a great time using this as a base for customs, and swapping the unique vampire head on this Legion builder is perfect for other vampire figures in your collection. I'm always glad to see more races being fleshed out, especially as a Legion builder, as it's a cheap and quick way to start bulking up any Legion you collect, especially the vampires of Ilithia's brood. The reflective glossy black armor of this figure does make it stand out, even if the details can really only be noticed in direct lighting, although for new collectors, maybe picking up something that shows off the detail a little better would be a better introduction to Mythic Legions. Overall, for the low cost of a Legion builder, we have a full loadout of weapons with the trident and longsword that are not used too commonly. It's a great pickup to swap with your other figures. If you love the Vampire Legion and are looking for a great way to bulk up the army, the Vampire Phalanx is a perfect choice that would blend in very well with the rest of the army. Alright guys, that's it for this review. Leave a comment letting me know how you like this figure, subscribe, or share this video with your friends to help out the channel.